This course is not a capstone course like some of our complete project courses. So we do a 2-week project at the end of our embedded course, and that's what this is. It's unique in that everybody does their own version of this thing, but they all have to interact together.
Our project is the Raven Deconstructed, and it's called that because the Raven is the name of the poem that we're taking apart, and we're putting it back together through radio communication.
All quarter we've been working on pieces that build up to this final project. We started working with, actually down at the assembly level and working our way up. And we've been working with pieces like the radio and the accelerometer, and like piece by piece so that we understand like how they all work. One of our files is like over 1,000 lines of code, and then we have other files included also with that, with other code. So it's a lot of code.
Everyone coded their program independently on these, but together they all talk to each other and form a mesh network. It's a creative remix of The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe.
So the LED color helps say what state it's in, so it'll turn a different color based on what it's responding to and how and why. This one, that's a trigger sound. There's some phrases that trigger sound effects, and then it plays that and it turns blue.
All of our different Ravens will say the different lines of the poem at random, so hopefully we get the poem back in some form or another.
Do you have any ideas for how you change this, or things that could be done differently? Yes.
Be a handshaking protocol, so that way only one person responds to a phrase that someone says instead of everyone responding to a certain phrase. Because otherwise you get one person to say something, and then a bunch of people will say something right away in response, instead of having just one person responding. Then you would get more of a flow or some sort of...
When you have several people responding to the same phrase, it gets mangled and you don't get any actual content out of it. It's just sound. You just hear James Earl Jones.
This idea of emergent behavior, where everybody does their own thing, but they're working according to a set of common rules, is the basic idea of these projects, where as long as you do the common rules, some group behavior comes out of this. If there's one thing I hope my students get out of this, it's the idea of working on a complete project that cooperates with other groups.